Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Monday, that means it's time for a Movie Monday. Today, continuing our MCU Rewatch, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, this is...
Jelani, Bullard.
And this is...
Brooks.
And we are here doing our Movie Monday. Every Monday is Movie Monday here at PCP on YouTube. And we are doing this MCU Rewatch, and it's finally time for Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the jewels of Phase 2, in my opinion, absolutely. Along with Winter Soldier, which we talked about last week. So, Phase 2, I do think, is maybe the weakest so far. I mean, there's only been 3 phases, right? But Phase 2 is the weakest. But Guardians and Winter Soldier really stand out strong. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's amazing. Now, when it first came out, I liked it, but I didn't like as much as I've liked it on continuous viewings and throughout the years. And this movie is so solid, and it really took the sequel, which we'll get to in a few weeks, to really help me love and appreciate this movie even more. Great performances. Right? You got Chris Pratt. You got Zoe Saldana, right? We were singing the song.
Zoe Saldana.
right there. Dave Bautista, right? Mm-hmm. Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Karen Gillan. Lots of exciting talent in this movie. Benicio del Toro. It is, of course, directed by James Gunn. James Gunn did movies like Slither. He's done other movies that escape me right now, but a brilliant director with a very creative vision, and I think it really, really worked in this movie. It captured the feel of like a new generation's Star Wars. Like it captured the zeitgeist. I feel like it took the best parts of Firefly/Serenity, merged it with a little bit of Star Wars, with a little bit of that Marvel Studios flair, and just launched it out. And James Gunn, Chris Pratt, and the rest of them just knocked it out. Hit a home run, absolutely. At the time, though, there was so many people loved this movie, and all of a sudden, overnight, everybody was Guardians of the Galaxy's fans, and that just kind of wore down on me a little bit. But now that has subsided a little bit, I can go back and appreciate the movie even more. And in my opinion, it's got one of the best MCU villains to date. We'll talk about that later. Jelani, what did you think about Guardians of the Galaxy then and now?
Back then, I was the most afraid of this movie, and I've said this numerous times because I was like, there's no way in the world they can pull off a CGI raccoon and have it stand out with a group of people. And it's the most outlandish of the Marvel movies up to that point. And you've gotten great films, but you never had a all-out space odyssey. Just a straight-up space odyssey. And
we had a hint in Thor.
Yeah, but just a little bit, but not like the craziest characters you've ever seen. You're not getting your Star Wars characters. Plus, these are unknown Marvel properties, and they were just throwing them out there. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, let's see if it works.
See if it works." And everybody, I was afraid. I really was. I was like, "This is gonna be the weakest one." I think we found the weakest link, and I go into it, and I watch it for the first time, and it blows my mind. And it's not just the comedy. It's not just the serious moments. It's not the family concepts. It's the music. The music sets the tone for the whole movie.
Yes.
It's a character of it in itself.
A lot of the music was even chosen and or written. Like when Tyler Bates did the score, even some of that was written before he was even like writing and filming the movie, and it helped like set the tone. James Gunn takes the soundtrack and score very, very seriously. Yes. But you're right, that soundtrack immediately just kicks it up a notch. From the trailer onward. And then once you hit the movie, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, and I love this film. I mean, I love the characters in it. I love how they don't like each other. Yeah. Like, they don't like each other. And it's apparent, but they work so well as a group, and as a cohesive unit, trying to protect, just turning into the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's so simple. And it's kind of like the Avengers in space on top of that, all the things you said. Yeah. And it's just this group getting together and fighting an evil and having fun while doing it. So it's a very clean movie, and it's one of those movies where you can just take anyone to go see it. Like anyone can just jump into the Marvel Universe. If you want to jump into the Marvel Universe and you've never tried it, I would start with Guardians of the Galaxy because it really doesn't have any real ties to what's going on in the Marvel Universe. I mean, it throws an Infinity Stone in there, but it's perfect. And it's up there.
It does really definitely stand on its own. And I think one of the strengths of this film is that it does stand on its own. because it is very little known characters. Now, I realize that Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, they're well known now, but at the time they weren't so well known. Like people, the average person in America now knows who Tony Stark is.
Right.
Not the case in 2005.
Exactly.
Right? But Guardians, completely unknown characters, even to most comic book fans, right? So you're able to take these characters, and nobody really has too many preconceived notions about this unexplored region of the Marvel universe. In the cinematic version of it is the cosmic stuff. The Nova Corps and Warlock and all this stuff.
It goes out.
So you're able to throw it in. James Gunn's able to have his vision present, and Marvel is able to actually keep that vision and allow him the creative freedom to do what he does. Creative freedom that maybe I wish other directors would have gotten, right? But this movie is splendid. It's fantastic, and I think that's one of the reasons why, one of the strengths of the movie. Of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy appeared in the comics in like a Marvel premiere, something or another, back in the 70s for Marvel Comics. It was a completely different team. Star-Lord was created, Gamora, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot, all created at different times by different people for different reasons. And then kind of semi-recently in the Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning run of Guardians of the Galaxy, brought the team that we now know as the Guardians of the Galaxy together for the first time, because there was a Guardians series in the 90s, but it wasn't anything similar as well, right?
It was like in the future.
The 30th
Absolutely,
century,
yeah. It was like their version of the Legion of Superheroes type thing. But this version of the Guardians is true to that DNA run during the Annihilation stuff. Brooks is a huge Marvel Comics fan, just like all of us here in the studio, regardless of the Batman and NASA shirts. You didn't get the memo? You're supposed to wear a Batman shirt for Guardians Night.
Yeah, man.
Obviously.
All three of them.
You didn't get the memo, right? Anyway, Brooks, what do you think about the movie then and now?
Well, I always liked this movie, but I started actually reading Guardians of the Galaxy, the comic, like not long before the movie came out, like when they rebooted it with, I think Brian Michael Bendis was writing
Oh
it.
yeah. In total preparation for that movie coming out.
Yeah, that's when I started reading. I'd heard of him, like my buddy George, he was in the Guardians. Yeah, and so like, I was expecting it to be good, because I liked the comic pretty well.
Yeah.
And but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I don't think anybody really did.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it is really good. Like, it's one of those, if you're just thinking you need something to watch, to kill some time, like, lift your spirits.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good one to do that.
It definitely lifts your spirits.
Yeah, because it's a really funny movie. It's a very it's got good adventure. And I like the fact that the characters in it aren't really superheroes. They're just a bunch of guys in space. Like, Groot wouldn't be like... That's how they can just walk around and, like, nobody really pays much attention to them. Unlike in superhero movies, like, you have humans and then you have everybody else.
Yeah.
But out in the Guardians universe, like, all these different races of aliens just basically just...
Yeah.
Come and go as they please.
They're misfits. It's definitely got that connection to something akin to like a Firefly, or even like, because even in the Star Wars films, they're rebels. Yeah. Like Han Solo, Luke, Leia, Chewie. They're all R2-D2, C3. They're all just kind of thrown together. They're a ragtag team of misfits, right? And that's definitely what the Guardians is. It's funny, but it's also very serious. It's got very poignant, moving moments in this film. Star-Lord. Right? A total departure from Star-Lord basically in the comic books, especially originally back in the 70s, a completely different type character, completely different origin. They add in the mother stuff, right? The mystery of who the father is. It's very touching. Right. You mentioned the music in the movie and how integral to the movie the music is. And it's because of the Walkman, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So he's got this cassette player. It's the tape that his mom gave him. His mom died. Yeah, and then he gets zipped away by Yondu.
Yep.
Michael Rooker. By the way, this movie takes comic book things and completely changes them, and most fans don't care. Mm-hmm. Michael Rooker's Yondu is nothing like the comic book Yondu.
Not at all.
At all. But he's awesome. He's so awesome, especially in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's humorous, it's fun. Star-Lord, such life given to this character by Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt getting in shape for the role, really committing to it.
They had to actually, like, in a season of Parks and Recreation,
where
they took a season off, he came back, and they had to explain, like, why he was so buff.
I just quit drinking beer.
His character in the previous season was like a doofy, kind of chubby guy.
He really got it together, got in shape, got ready for this role, and delivered it absolutely perfect. The whole cast in this movie is good. Even Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
was great in this movie. What are your recollections of the cast? Who stands out? What do you like?
Oh, my stands out? Groot. I am Groot.
Yes.
Clearly Vin Diesel has the easiest job in all of the Marvel Entertainment.
Yes.
Where you just go into a sound studio and say, I'm Groot.
And he really wanted to do Black Bolt, which I find very ironic.
Yeah. Oh, thank
A character who doesn't speak.
Right. Yeah, he shouldn't.
You either get me visually or audio. There's no in between.
It's one or the other. But I mean, the way that character emoted and the fact that it was all CG, I'm very impressed. And you feel for this non-existent thing, and you feel for how it has this companionship with Rocket, and Rocket and he are just like this cohesive unit as well. And they're just bounty hunters trying to do bounty hunter stuff, get the money, you know. And I draw to Groot more because Groot is just there. He's just like, I'm so happy. My favorite scene in the movie is when he's like taking out all of Ronan's guys. Yeah. And he's like slapping them up against the walls. Yeah. And then he turns around and smiles. Yeah. It's like, I did something good, right?
Did I do a good job?
So it's like because he's so peaceful throughout the movie.
I know.
And like all of a sudden he just turns into this super violent killer.
He's so loyal to Rocket.
And then he just immediately goes back to default.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
Groot really took the nation by storm.
Yeah.
I mean, T-shirts, action figures, bobbleheads, everything. Everything was Groot crazy. And it's deserved.
It's deserved.
It is deserved. But it happened so fast, and it just kind of took the comic industry by storm. Like, Groot, everything all of a sudden, like, everywhere. Like, Groot appeared in more comics one month, I swear, than Wolverine and Deadpool combined.
That sounds about fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Groot is great. Rocket's great. I love the little bits of drama that they give, like Rocket, when he's like, I wasn't asked to be made this, you know, and he's like, he called me a vermin, right? And like, there's everybody in this movie, from Gamora to Drax, of course, Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, they all, even characters like Ronan and Nebula, they all get their moment to like show what's really inside the character. It's still as fun as it is, as funny and humorous as it is, as much of an adventure that this movie is. It is still about character. And the characters ring true, even when they change things from the source material. The characters ring true because of great performances, great writing, great vision, great direction. This movie is just great all the way around. The cast, some standout performances. What characters did you like the most in this film? Good guys.
Oh, Rocket and Groot were actually probably my two favorites.
They're perfect, man.
It's crazy, like the two actors that you don't even see give some of the best performances. But Drax was, I really like Drax.
Drax
Drax
was a standout too.
He did get his moments of seriousness where he gets a little pathos too, like. And Gamora, Gamora.
Her and Nebula. Yeah, and Nebula's just the best, like.
That was when Gamora got to shine the most, was her scenes with Nebula. Really.
Yes. Yeah. And her banter with Chris Pratt, they got good chemistry. Right. They got a good Sam and Diane type thing going on, right?
Even the Sam and Diane with the Cheers
I know, right?
thing,
I don't know. Like, Cheers is my basis for all things thematically in film and TV. Everything comes from Cheers. It all goes. Everything is in Cheers. Look at the archetypes: the 7 gods of Olympus, the 7 patrons of Cheers. Anyway, that's a completely different video. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. Drax is funny. Gamora's awesome. Yeah. She is BA in this movie. And Chris Pratt is so great because he's the leader of this team and he becomes the leader and he deserves to become the leader.
It's like,
but he's such a joke at first.
It's like you have no idea why. It's like he has that ego thing like, I'm Star-Lord. Maybe you heard of me. And like the John C. Reilly picks up, hey, it's Star King.
Yeah, Star-Lord. It's so funny, man. And what's the dude's name? He was in Gladiator. Digimon.
Jaimin Hunson?
Jaimin
Hunson.
He's the guy who's the Kree soldier. Yeah. And he's the one like, who? And then later on in the movie, in the 3rd act, he goes, Star-Lord. And he's like,
yes! You know me.
It's so great, the coming together of it. And just how attached Peter is to that cassette tape.
And when he goes back into jail to get it.
Yes, man. And the breakout scene, the fight when they get arrested.
Everything about this movie is awesome.
Drax is like, what did you get that was so important?
Yeah.
You're an imbecile.
And then when Drax calls Ronan in on him, and then you get all that stuff going on. Every scene is so good. It hits, it's fast. Every moment, that needs to lingers for just the right amount of time, then it skips ahead to like this crazy awesome prison break.
Yep.
Which is so clever. I need that guy's leg. That's one of my favorite bits in this whole movie. And when Groot just rips that alarm or whatever off, he's like,
This is what you wanted,
they're
right?
making the plane, he just walks up and just grabs it.
And talk about the ultimate moment of pathos in this whole thing is when Groot goes, "We are Groot." Oh my god. And Rocky when he's like, "No, Groot, you'll die." And he breaks your heart, man. Rocket.
He really does.
Like every time I watch this movie, I go home or I find my cat and I just squeeze him. And then he shreds the shit out of me. But let's talk over onto the other side. Let's talk about the villains real quick. We got Nebula, we got Ronan, we got Thanos, we got the other. So Thanos is like second in command dude at this time, the guy who was in the Avengers.
Right.
I turned out that's Alexis Denisoff.
Yeah. That's
Right.
What's his
Wesley.
name? From Wesley,
Right?
Yes.
From Buffy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just found
And
that
Angel.
out. Yeah, I just found that out. I may
didn't
have
know
known
that was
that,
him.
but that's him. But he gets
Wow.
wiped out by Ronan. They're trying to show how badass Ronan is because Thanos is kind of in there to make it connect more with the MCU, and it's there for a good reason. And I like this. Josh Brolin's first appearance voicing the character, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the first time.
Absolutely. The character looks a little.
Wait, he wasn't at the end of the Avengers doing.
No, he was just smiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He just
right.
smiled.
It's like
That's
a
right.
close-up of his face. It's
So-
the first time we actually see the full Thanos.
Yes, and he's there
Right.
on his throne or whatever. So he's there. Ronan's there. You get Nebula. Nebula and Gamora are basically the daughters of Thanos, and Midnight Proxima is going to be another daughter of Thanos.
Right.
These are basically women that he has like
Conquered.
That he's not conquered. Sounds weird. That he's like kidnapped or grabbed and like taken up and like
He destroyed their
genetically,
culture.
and genetically
And-
changed them,
yeah.
engineered them, made them like Nebula more so, right? And I love that sibling rivalry.
Right.
That's there. Nebula feels like she's always been in Gamera's shadow
Yeah.
this entire time.
Like there's a
I
scene
said
where
Gamora
he,
because I need to say Gamora because it's a Gamera.
Gamora.
Gamera's a giant turtle.
yeah, that's the turtle.
Anyway, so the villains. What do you think about the villains, Jelani?
Okay, I don't think Ronan is the strongest villain. He's got great motivations.
What's that cat's name? Something Pace.
Lee Pace. Lee Pace.
He's in The Hobbit.
Yeah, he's in The Hobbit. He's
Yeah.
in that TV show *Halt and Catch Fire*.
He's a douchebag in The Hobbit too.
Yeah, he's a douche pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he pulls it off.
Poor guy. You
Yeah.
imagine what that feels like. He was like, I always get cast as like. How does James Spader feel?
Oh yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that next week.
But Lee Pace is fine as Ronan.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of forgettable, like not Malekith level forgettable for me. But I like his motivations. He just wants to destroy stuff, and the fact he doesn't give a crap what Thanos thinks.
He
I like
doesn't.
that. He doesn't.
He stands up to Thanos.
He stands up to Thanos. and
First
like
time
the
we
only
see
person
that.
to see it.
Maybe
Yeah.
one of the only times we see it until Cap does it.
Yeah,
And that's going to be a great scene. But he does have a motivation. His motivation is he wants to destroy Xandar
Right. He's supposed to be pure.
because they've been at war with the Kree the whole time. So it's like he's got motivation. Like he's got intense motivation. And at the beginning when you first see him, he's bathing in his victim's blood.
Yep.
Like to me, Ronan is so badass. And I feel like he's memorable. I feel like he's powerful. He's scary. He's threatening. Red Skull's a little bit of an a-hole, you know, keeping in terms of this movie. He's a little bit of just a jerk, right? And a lot of the other movies outside of Loki, other villains outside of Loki, I haven't really felt have been the strongest or lived up to their potential. You know, we've been talking about Malekith and even the Hydra stuff and Winter Soldier, like those like Winter Soldier's awesome, but the Hydra people, they're just kind of like Robert Redford. I don't know.
Redford's all right.
But like the villains are, I just think Ronan really stands out, and he's threatening and he's strong, and I believe in that entire movie that there's no way they're going to be able to stop this dude.
Yeah, he gets a lot of time. He gets chances to display his power, particularly when Drax attacks him.
Yeah.
He just fucking owns
He
him.
ruins
And
it.
he's got great lines too, and he's like, I don't remember killing your family, and when he goes off on Thanos and he defies Thanos, he's like, can you call me boy? He's got this intensity that I just love in this movie. What do you think about Ronan?
I like Ronan. I wouldn't say. Well, he's probably one of the stronger villains, but I think if he'd had more screen time. But you know, this movie is really packed full of all
characters.
kinds of, yeah. It's like so for the time he was there, I thought he was really good.
Okay.
He's a good intimidating, you know.
Yeah.
Like
He's doing his
he's one
job.
of those, he dismisses like his plan ever going awry. You know, he has that kind of arrogance about
The
it.
only thing that stops him ultimately in the end is that he just cannot comprehend what the hell Star-Lord is doing when he
Right.
starts dancing.
The dancing.
He's seriously, and he doesn't even break character. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like he just can't comprehend. what, I don't even know what's going on right now, and it's pissing me off. Yeah, it's pissing me off so much right now. I think Ronan was a little judgmental. He seemed very accusatory. Anyway, what about Nebula? Did you like Nebula, Jelani?
I like Karen Gillan. She was the Doctor's companion.
Amy
for a while.
Pond.
Yep.
Yes.
So I was already automatically in. I was like, yeah, okay. And her character is conflicted because she's a daughter of Thanos, and she's like, she's still kind of torn. You can tell that she's a little torn, but she is brutal on top of that. Like years of Thanos ripping pieces off of her, which we'll learn later, but has finally taken her toll, and she wants to do her job, and her job is to get that stone.
Yeah.
And that's all her mission is. So I kind of like her for that. I like her dynamic with her and Gamora.
Yeah.
It just feels like they are sisters and they have a rivalry, and you feel that she can't really live up. Well, she wants to be her. She wants to be Gamora in some ways because she's a lot better.
And
She's
she
a lot
wants
better with her.
Daddy's approval.
She wants the daddy's approval.
And
thing.
there's a scene where Thanos is talking to Ronan. He's like, "You lost my favorite daughter."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it kind of
She's
cuts
right
over to
there.
her like
She's
you
like,
know,
Yeah. Everybody in this movie gets their moments.
Everybody has them, and you feel it from everyone. And I love Nebula.
I love it. I think she's awesome. I love the vocal effect on her voice. I love when she gets messed up and she just like
fixes herself.
You like Nebula? Basically, you just said that.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got her
yeah.
moments. It's great. Good stuff. The little Thanos bit is cool. Not too much Thanos, but just enough to let us know that we still building up to this Thanos thing.
Right.
But I love the movie overall. Seriously though, let's talk about the Power Stone. So you got another Infinity Stone in this movie. It's power. In the comic books originally, it was red. Red was power. Now it's purple. The orb that Star-Lord gets in the very beginning of the movie, and he's doing it for the Ravagers, and you got all the Yondu stuff.
Right.
By the way, one of my favorite lines in this movie is, "Would you stop holding that over my head? Like it's such a great thing of you not to eat me."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
normal
good.
people don't do that.
But inside of there, of course, we find out, especially when they go visit Benicio del Toro as the Collector in a brilliant performance.
He
Looks
perfectly
spot on.
captured the cosmic douchebag
Yes.
that the
Yeah.
Collector is.
He is a great role, absolutely. So you find out inside it's got the Infinity Stone. Of course, this movie really is the first one to go in depth a little bit and do some exposition on what exactly the Infinity Stones are. Well, what do you think about the utilization of the Power Stone in this film?
It was perfect.
I think
That was the greatest villain in the movie. Like it destroys worlds.
Well, and if you
It was
don't
great.
think Ronan is badass, he grabs that thing,
Yeah,
and
like it's nothing.
sticks it in his hammer, and just like, dude,
Yeah.
what? Crazy.
He does things like that.
It's the first Marvel movie to show Celestial too.
Yes, they
Yep.
do. Yeah, they do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know that Nowhere is the head of a dead
The
Celestial.
head of a dead
Yeah.
Celestial. Yeah.
So there you go.
It's good times.
So yeah, the Power Stone worked perfectly too because it does exactly what it's supposed to do in the comics. It gives the being immense power, but you got to be able to wield it.
Right.
And I love that at the end they have to
kills.
share that burden with Star-Lord. And I love that.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a great little...
It's the MacGuffin's MacGuffin. It's
Exactly.
perfect.
What about the utilization of the Power Stone in the movie? Still canon.
It kind of worked because at first it's just something. In the beginning the movie starts as kind of Indiana Jones type feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like just something for him to get, and then like gradually throughout it becomes more of a burden, and it just draws nothing but trouble. But they can't turn away because they realize just how if Ronan actually has it, he's gonna destroy a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it
Because
was
he won't
perfect.
stop at Xandar.
Yeah.
He'll do
Ronan's
more-
fucking
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Xandar, Nova Corps, Glenn Close, Nova Prime, great role, very small. John C. Reilly in a great role. Lots of cool visual effects there when they have to form the net, stop Ronan's ship. Ronan's ship was huge and
was
kind of
kinda
weird
dumb,
and cool looking.
but-
You thought it was dumb? I thought it was awesome, but anyway. Did the Nova Corps thing bother you? It seemed to bother a lot of comic fans. The way they
It should
handled
have been Nova. They should have had
Richard Rider.
Richard Rider be Nova somewhere, or have Richard Rider there
They still
and
could.
not actually.
They still could.
Yeah, it's still there,
Yeah.
but I want that.
A lot of people didn't like that they made them more just
And
like
they're just
average
like
Joe
cops.
policemen.
Yeah.
But that's what they are.
They're just
Right.
like beat cops, and they're just doing their beat thing.
Like, you don't
Ships
think
are
it's
cool.
believable that John C. Reilly is a Nova Corps member.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Like, he's just
But he's
some
funny
guy.
in the movie.
He's good,
He's great.
you know.
I
And
don't know if anyone's 100%.
They sound like a bunch of I don't know, you know.
a bunch of a-holes. That's the dude. I can't remember his name. He's got such a long name.
He's a great bit in that movie
He's
too,
awesome
because
in
he
that
hates
movie.
him and then he like died. Didn't he sacrifice?
He dies in the net. in
Yeah.
that large
Yeah.
star net.
They do. Yeah, the
That
star net.
stupid thing I don't like. I don't know. I don't think you should just build a barrier like that and just have something push on your barrier. You're not trying anything else.
Yeah.
Like, and you're wasting all the resources of those ships just to make a net.
They bought him enough time. They bought him the time they
It
needed.
was fine. But
Oh, no.
yeah, that's my
The
only
point was
like
to
real
keep the
thing,
ship
right?
from touching the ground. All they needed to do was keep Ronan from being able to.
right.
touch the planet.
Touch the ground. That's
Yeah.
it. You could do that cool rocket thing was doing for a while.
Brooks
Shooting up.
is easy to please. Nova Corps didn't bother you, did it?
No. I mean, I'm not very knowledgeable of the character or the Nova Corps in general.
They're like Green Lanterns.
I thought it made sense. They have their part of the galaxy. They're policing it, and yeah, I thought they were good.
I think
and
most people-
I like that they put Glenn Close in there to say that she says that one line, prick.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think a lot of people just didn't like how blue collar it felt, but I didn't have a problem with it. Jelani maybe, but not really.
I mean, I want them to be like Green Lantern Corps. I mean, I want them to be space police, but
So you want Marvel to be more like DC?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
And they can have like CG costumes.
yeah. All CG, buddy.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the rankings here at PCP. We do ya digs, 5 possible ya digs for the best of the best. No ya digs for not too many movies, I would think, but Jelani's given out some no ya digs before.
Sure.
So Guardians of the Galaxy, out of 5 ya digs, Jelani, what do you rate it?
5. If I could do 6, I'd do 6.
5 ya digs. Wow, 5.
Yeah.
5. Hot damn. 5 ya
It's
digs.
my favorite Marvel movie.
Period.
To date.
Out of all.
Out of
Better
all
than
of
Winter
them.
Soldier.
Better than Winter
Better
Soldier.
than Avengers.
Better than Avengers.
Okay.
And I love Avengers.
Okay.
And yeah. If I could rate it higher than Avengers, I would.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
ya digs. A very, very strong 5 ya digs. What about you, Brooks? How
I'll
many?
give it a 4.5.
4.5 ya digs. Why 4.5? Why so high?
I just like this movie a lot, and like even the problems I see with it, I don't care
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
because it's just such an enjoyable movie.
I can dig that. I'm gonna go 4.5 ya digs because I think it's pretty solid. I don't think it's quite near perfect, but I do think it's very, very close to almost near perfect. I love this movie. I think it's great. Great performances, great effects, great emotion, great action, adventure, funny, super cool, sly, great villains, in my opinion. Love it. We love it here. 4.5, an average of 4.66666, just with a long line across it.
Oh.
You do
okay.
that, right?
Sure.
Right. Mark of the
Alright.
beast, right? Anyway, we love this film. What do you think about it? Let us know how many ya digs you give it in the comments down below. And be sure to join us next week. Next week, we'll be talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. We shall see what we rank it, what we think about it then and now next week. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. This is...
Jelani Bullard.
This is...
And Brooks.
And we do this MCU Rewatch every week until it's done. So be back here next week, Movie Monday. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs, top 5 lists, and a whole lot more. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. You dig, you're rocking, do blah blah blah. Fooled around and fell in love. I don't know how to end these things anymore. It's like an Oasis song.
Just, dig.
Maybe that's why originally I just used to just say dig.
Yeah.
One word, just to end it. Just be done.
It doesn't hurt.
Just be done.
And just awkwardly cut off the video in the middle of somebody's.
Blah, blah, blah. All right.
Oh, and by the way, like you just hung up the phone on accident.
Yeah. Yeah, dig.
I was trying to think of a song from the first Guardian. I could only think of songs from Guardians 2, but then I thought of Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
Don't you have to like pay for